sustainability and demystifying it for you. We have with us Virendra Goyal, Head BD, EV Charging, Tata Power, who will be speaking with Assistant Professor, Practice and Academic Director, Center for Business Innovation, ISB, Vijay, Sundar M, to talk about this and more. Can we please have you on the stage? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So in the previous session, I was excited to hear one of our colleagues talking about the chicken and egg problem, isn't it? I think the question was about the consumers, the buyers on one side for EVs, and on the other hand, there was a talk about are we ready for it? How is our EV charging infrastructure ready for it? And that is where I heard it's a chicken and egg problem. And Akash is here smiling in front of me. So this is an important problem for two reasons. Because we're talking about a problem at 8:25 p.m. So chickens and eggs, of course, are naturally important for us at this time. And beyond that, this is an expensive egg. Because this egg actually is equivalent to 1 million registered EVs today, as we are talking today, exist in our country. 1 million EVs are already registered out there, so the egg looks pretty expensive. Now we have with us Viren from the largest EV charging company here, Tata Power. Now why don't you talk to us about the chicken out there, because the egg is anyway expensive, 1 million registered EVs. Please talk to us, Viren, about how are we ready with regard to the EV charging? As a nation, where are we? We often hear many segments of EV charging. Why don't you talk to us about that?
Sure. Thanks, Professor. And good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Before I talk about EV charging and infrastructure, let me appreciate the organizer, for walking the talk, organizing a program on EV sustainability, also having a thoughtful, not having those plastic bottles. I observed outside also they have not kept those water bottles. That's a wonderful, that's a care. Everyone talked about today's youth is driving the EV adoption, and this was something very impressive. Coming to EV charging, see, there are 4 segments. Let me make it very simple. Most of the points have been discussed. I will touch upon the pain point which all 3 customers of mine, my customers are OEMs. Of course, they sell the cars and the users use it. So they talked about one of the common pain point. I will certainly address it. See, there are 4 segments of EV charging. A, home charging. Second is public charging. Public is public, semi-public. Third is fleet charging. And fourth is bus charging. So Tata Power is active in all the 4 charging segments in the country. We are the largest charge point operator. We have about 4,500 charging points, 4,800 charging points. Now, numbers per se, yes, it is good. But then we have also created a network that today I have presence in over 400 cities and towns. So it is not only Bombay, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. No, I am there in Sri Ganganagar of Rajasthan, and I am there in the interior part of Maharashtra. I am there in Tamil Nadu. So we've created that kind of infrastructure, and it is a mix of AC chargers, DC chargers. And see, the good thing which the government has done, or I would say the OEMs have also done, is all of them have adopted to a CCS protocol for their vehicles. Now, this is actually driving EV adoption. Imagine if three OEMs having three different types of protocols. How would the charging infra get created? It is impossible. So we see the same thing, like mobile phone example. So most of the mobile phones were using CPIN, and that helped the phone sellers sell it. So I think, I hope I have answered your first question in terms of creating that network. Second, serving this 1 million EV registered EVs which are there in the country. See, network expansion is an ongoing journey. Initially, the network was created for intracity, which everyone spoke about. But then 85 to 90% charging happens at home. People don't want to charge outside. It happens at home or at the workplace. Today, many corporates have come forward and who are creating charging infrastructure in their offices. The second thing, which was most important, is coverage of highways. So today, Tata Power has created presence in over 400 highways in the country. So one can seamlessly travel from Kolkata to Siliguri. Bombay, Pune, Delhi, Jaipur, Delhi, Chandigarh were earlier ones. Today, people travel from Kashmir to Kanyakumari in EV, from Jaisalmer to Manipur. You can travel by EV. So you may have some problems here and there, but then it is manageable, and there are EV enthusiasts who are taking this drive. They are popularizing the concept of EV, and they are answering to a larger community about the range anxiety. One more thing is EV adoption. If we see, there is a community which is also supporting each other. And of course technology is helping. There are WhatsApp groups in almost each of the states, and various car OEMs have promoted WhatsApp groups. The users help each other where the chargers are, or if there are a particular alert, alarm which are coming, because they are all connected cars. They are actually machines. They are technology machines. They are not just a car. They are, the softwares keep getting updated and so on. So there is a community which is helping each other, and which is also promoting EV vehicle adoption. EV, one can say, is a dinner table discussion in every house. A car, and why so is because car is also every youth's first dream, I would say. We always say, when I grow up, what will I do? I'll buy a car. So car is a dream for all of us. That's why,
Thank you, Viren. I agree with you that going from one part of the country to the other, even if it is not a metro in EV, is manageable. That's what he said. So it's okay, we do agree with you. But the bigger concern lies at home, not while driving. Today we talk about, you mentioned about the home charging, right? Home charging is great, but when we all live in communities, we all live in residential societies. Now there is a rising concern about home charging versus the community charging. So how do we tackle that?
Yeah, so this was the pain point which was mentioned by my customers here. See, home charging actually is a very seamless process which we have created at Tata Power. We have installed about 59,000 home chargers. 59,000 home chargers we have installed. And there is an automated process that today you book a car, I get intimation, and in certain markets, I come and install home charger even before your car is delivered in less than 7 days. That's one. But the challenge which is mentioned is about getting permissions in residential societies, A. B. Not having a dedicated car park, which is also a possibility, or having a dedicated car park, but far off, the car park is open. How do you address? So I live in Mumbai, and Maharashtra has seen a high adoption of electric vehicles. We were thrown this problem, and what we did is we went first to the builders, and we signed up contracts with them, and they loved this concept. We said we will create a community charging station inside your residential society. So there is a society in which we have created, let's say there are 1,000 flats. Not everyone has bought an EV. One or two or five of them have bought EVs. We went and deployed 5 AC chargers in those premises. And they are given to all the 1,000 residents. Whoever wants to use it, it is open to them. Now, all the chargers installed by Tata Power are operated through a mobile app, which is Tata Power EZ Charge app. All our chargers are visible. You can plan. Now, the second question which came was, so there was one of the society where we had installed only one charger. The gentleman said, but 2 of us want to go at the same time. How do I advance book? So there is a feature of advance book in the mobile app.
Like a scheduling system.
Yes. So one who says, I will have dinner at 8:30, then I want to go down for a walk, and I will leave my car there at 9:30. Please book it. So today, we have installed over 1,200 such chargers, more so in Maharashtra, Delhi NCR, and to some extent in southern states. See, this happens more in the flat-driven markets, which are Maharashtra, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai is also we are working. We have also seen adoption in workplaces. And there are various studies which show 85-83% of charging happens at residential and workplaces. And it is cheaper. The cost per kilometer is less than a rupee. In fact, such low TCO is, such low operating cost of EV is actually driving travel. Like Santosh mentioned, he used to go 25 years ago from Pune to Maharashtra to Kerala. In fact, these days I see a lot of people traveling in EV from Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu, and when we call customers randomly, we get to know, and people are traveling because the cost of travel is so less. Sure. So home charging is being addressed like that, and we are continuously working, and we are also seeing a lot of inquiries. See, there is a challenge in terms of their longer decision-making process at the residential society, but we do go and talk to them in their, they have their monthly meetings, their committee meetings. We go and make presentations to them. But we have signed up with large builders like Lodha, Rustamji, Kolte Patil, Vatika in North. And they have given access to number of buildings. So it's not one. So, if they have built 60 buildings, you've got access to all the 60. It's like that.
It appears like the ecosystem is building, right? So on one hand, we saw both Volvo and Mercedes sitting together and talking about collaborations. And on the other hand, I mean, they truly collaborated. Even the mics were shared. We saw all of that. And then on the other hand, when Viren is talking that we are collaborating with the real estate and the communities out there, that it seems like the ecosystem is building. And it's a continuous process, right? I mean, when we all faced the oil crisis several years ago, as a country, Japan was the first to take the advantage, and then later they took an advantage, and later it helped them to build their economy in a great way. Now, from that perspective, if I see this ecosystem which is building in our country, as a nation, if I see, compared to other countries like Norway or China out there who are in a little better shape than what we are at the current moment, where do we see the supply side of this charging, the EV charging that we're talking about from an infrastructure perspective? Where do you see it can contribute to India as a nation in this global market?
See, EV charging or EV adoption is certainly going to drive. See, what it is doing is it is actually enabling the shift to a cleaner mobility to a green mobility, which is what today everyone wants. We are all promoting sustainable ways in every possible way we can. So EV charging is the key driver of e-mobility. If we look at what drives e-mobility adoption, and various reports from research houses suggest that at the early stage of adoption, a policy network like what what he mentioned about Telangana state giving registration free and the road tax waiver. And of course, it creates that policy ecosystem and availability of charging infra. These are the two early stage adopters, early stage enablers, which enable faster adoption of e-mobility. And that is what it is going to contribute in. Second, the examples of other countries, including China, what we have seen is at 5% and above penetration level. After that, it breaks out, and then there is an exponential growth which is seen. Currently, I think on the EV car side, it is about 1.5% to 2%. So maybe in next 2 to 3 years, we should be seeing a 5%, close to 5%, and then the government target of 30% EV car penetration by 2030. It should be.
That's interesting, because you spoke about cars specifically, and if I have to look at in the light of research, the current research estimates that the EV cars production is likely to increase by 11 times in the next 4 years. I mean, that sounds so interesting. I know there are so many EV specific components, startup founders, MSME related people sitting in this room. So this sounds like a great growing landscape with a CAGR of more than 40% today in the four-wheeler market, which is great. How do you see this phenomena happening in the two-wheeler market? Because we as a country have a very good supply market on two-wheelers. How can we leverage that in the EV space?
See, e-mobility adoption is seen in all the segments of automobile, whether it is two-wheeler, three-wheeler, cars, and buses. Now, it is easier for two-wheelers to adopt to electric, and we are already seeing very high numbers of two-wheelers getting converted, because there is, the range anxiety challenge which we keep hearing in car, and almost everyone talked about it. Also, the initial high cost of car. Those problems do not exist in two-wheelers. They are slightly lesser even if they exist. But if you look at a two-wheeler consumer, look at it from a consumer point of view. A consumer of two-wheeler has to go maybe 50 to 70 kilometers max in a day. So there is practically no need for a external charging. There is no dependence on a public charging.
Although two-wheelers, right?
On a two-wheeler. Although there are hyperchargers which are installed by two-wheeler OEMs, even we have installed in residential societies. So that makes it very easy. And then there are government schemes which are enabling or which are giving the additional benefit to the two-wheeler buyers. So that way, two-wheeler is already seeing. We are also seeing in three-wheeler side. The three-wheeler has the highest EV penetration. Three-wheeler segment has the highest EV penetration today, and it is also being driven by the involvement of large corporates. You look at the e-commerce players. They are also adopting for last mile delivery, the mid-mile delivery. All of them are adopting to the EV. Because everyone has to come together. It is not OEM, it is not the charging, it is not the government, it is not the corporate. The entire ecosystem has to work together, and including the consumer, and the consumer has to be in the center of it.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, every stakeholder has a role to play in building this ecosystem. There is no doubt about it. But when you were trying to end your response, you kind of spoke about consumers, and I can see you being a representative from Tata Power. Your customers are like OEMs, right? So you work closely with those stakeholders. So what do you see some of those changing trends in the consumers, especially when they are trying to make business with you? What are those changing trends? Can you talk a little bit about that?
See, our customers are, of course, our consumers are the end users of the car owners, basically, because they use our charging services. OEMs are also our customers. They use our home charging services. See, everyone, whether it is a OEM or... So first let me talk about OEM. What OEM is looking forward is absolutely great service to the EV owner, so that the EV owner can be, kept happy, because he already must be going through an anxiety. I have bought a new machine, which is of a new technology, and when 10 people are supporting him, of course 2 people must have been already telling him, ki abhi mat lo, next time lena EV car. Like Santosh was saying, everyone says next car will be EV. So he would already have those, anxieties. So they want absolute, great service, so that, and great service means a seamless home charging installation. And it is actually that way. You should talk to some of the customers who have gone through home charging installation process. It is seamless. They get home charger installed even before the car is delivered. That's, delight. Second, what does my end consumer want? End consumer wants, initially, they wanted chargers to be there. So charger hai. Now they want that reliability factor should be there. So chaliye, number of chargers have gone up, so reliability has also gone up. They want fast chargers. Now they also want amenities along with the chargers. So what we have done is we have created a strategy that on highway we will also we partner with the highway pit stops, the dhabas. We also create businesses for them, and they also get additional footfalls through EV vehicles, and we partner with them to create EV charging infrastructure. So today consumer wants amenities, so we install locations in those, we install chargers on those locations, which has those clean toilets, washrooms, air condition, access to internet, and so on.
Interesting. It sounds like you're kind of balancing both your B2B and B2C kind of markets. Great. We have spoken so much about the chicken problem. Now let me conclude by talking a little bit about the egg as well. So this is my last question. We spoke about the egg being expensive in the beginning. Of course, the chicken is also expensive out there, because we're talking about a market which globally is growing very fast, right? The estimates show that in the next 5 years, it's going to be globally a $13 billion USD market on the supply side. Now, if you have to give a piece of suggestion to our people sitting here who are anxious about this particular market from a startup perspective, from an MSME sector perspective, what are the business opportunities out there for the young entrepreneurs? What's your advice for them?
Slightly difficult question, but let me make it very simple. See, today India sells about 30 lakh cars approximately per annum, and EV is going to grow. Today, this year, it must be about 1,25,000 to 1,50,000. Startup is a synonym of innovation, and innovation is needed in everything. Today, what Mr. Jyoti mentioned, his Norway experience, like what Jyoti mentioned, even Santosh mentioned about the car should automatically detect and charge and pay. That's what a consumer wants. So anything which can ease the consumer or which can enhance the consumer experience is an opportunity. And the opportunity is there in my area. I can talk about there is opportunity in charging stations, and as the number of charging stations go up, they would require maintenances. So there are opportunities in those fields. They are all going to be digitally controlled. So there is opportunity in digital payment systems and so on. So it's huge opportunity when you will have in 2030, there may be about 12 to 13 lakh EVs, and after that it is all going to be exponential. So
interesting. Thank you very much, Viren, for
Thanks,
this
Professor Saab.
good responses. Wonderful. So